Thanks everyone for being here today. Honestly, I'm pretty feeling kind of stressed right now, just because like Ewan's presentation last week was so good. Low key kind of stressed. But anyways, today I'm back. If you don't already know it, and today I'm gonna present about my work. It might be an exaggeration to say I'm building cursor, but in some ways sort of similar, as I will walk you guys through. And yeah, hopefully it should be a pretty easy to understand presentation. Hopefully after this you guys won't be scared when you guys heard the word like AI engineering or like coding something like cursor, because like it's super simple. It's actually one of the simplest product you can build nowadays with using AI SDK. So yeah, let's go. A little bit of in the introduction. I'm currently working as an AI engineer for README. So I guess like a normal engineer would working in the AI team. A little bit context about README, that it is an API documentation application for developers. Think like Notion, but for tech documents. So any product with like APIs, calls, anything related to tech, you can use README to document it. And as AI is like it's developing nowadays and humans are getting lazier, I guess like every good product nowadays needs a good AI agent chat. We already have like two examples from the big companies, Cursor, Figma, Canva, all of them have like AI agent now. So I think it's inevitable that like as human gets lazier, we cannot like scroll around the app to use. We are so lazy. Now we only need a prompt to do everything we need. And I feel like that's gonna be the future of like applications as well. So yeah, it's good to know about these kind of stuff. Yeah. So the problem with README when I first came in is that they had an MVP, but it was mostly vibe coded, only using Gemini, and had a bunch of issues. They didn't have any framework, no text streaming, no formatting, no tool calling, no features, only a pure chatbot to talk with you between you and the AI. So that's not good. To build like a fully agentic assistant, it needs to have tool calling so that it can interact with your applications. So I was literally like start with nothing. The first 6 weeks, I was building features for them. It was started with some of the features that you might see in an agent, like having support for multi-models. You can select between different providers like OpenAI, Google. You can do web searches. It has thinking, the thought process within the chat upon the existing code base. But then, since the code base was vibe coded, then came the bottleneck with UI streaming. This is a very big problem, especially with tool calling, how we manage the state of the messages and tool calls. And as like you and like mentioning last week as well, streaming I think is one of the hardest problems in AI engineering. And as the previous code base was not built for streaming, while it was possible to implement my own streaming logic, similar to how Ewan does it, it always felt a bit hacky and doesn't seem good enough. Or maybe it's just a skill issue from my end, I guess. But luckily, since AI has been developed quite well recently, we now have a solution which is Lusso AI SDK. Ooh. It's very easy to use, I would say. The documentation is super easy to understand, but I feel like right now it's at a cost of very limited flexibility. You have to follow the guide, follow the exact framework. But I think it can handle most of the features you need from an AI agent chat right now. So it's very good. I would definitely recommend everyone giving it a try if you were to like build an agent or something. Yeah, so here's like the architecture I want to talk about today. It consists of 4 components here. With the front end, we want to stream all the UI or all the results coming back from the AI model, the output that is spun out. We have the backend, which is where all the AI generation or like tool calling, like which tool that the AI decide to generate, all in the backend. And I guess in the middle, we have like context, which is what we want the AI to understand or to know about, and the prompt. I guess one of the most underrated thing about an agent. All of it all connected together using this one specific hook from AI SDK. It's called Gchat. It handles all the message state so that each of these components can be separated, and we can like work with each of this separately without having to like having to do it manually and like doing hacking solutions. So what is UChat? Yeah, it allows you to create a conversational user interface for your chatbot. Enable the streaming of chat messages, which is very important. We don't have to take care of streaming if we have this one single hook here. it updates the UI, all the states automatically as new messages are received. Really cool. And now we'll start with the tool calling part first. For every good agent chat, we need good tools and make sure that it can understand and use the tools together to do a task. So, for example, if you want to maybe generate a map for you or like generate a recipe for you, the AI can call the tool web search to go up online, search for recipes, and afterward, it will use the tool generate recipe to generate like a list of ingredients you need to buy, how to make it, etc. So think of it the tool as like the tool that an AI can use to do a task for you. There's two types of tools. The first one is the client tools. This type of tools doesn't need any functions, executive functions from the backend. So think of it as more like just like tools to generate something for you without having to run anything in the backend. It's mostly for generating objects so that the user can use. So maybe like ask for your confirmations to get your locations. Some of the tools, examples, server tools are tools that require you to execute functions or API endpoints to the backend. So mostly for actually interacting with the applications or like interacting with the database, etc. Yeah. So this might be a question for you. Can you guys guess what some of the tools that Cursor might use for the allocations? Any examples? Like what type of tools do you think Cursor might use?
Right. I'll put
Read and write the files.
read and write.
Yep. Grab is like a good one. Grab is definitely super powerful. Yep. Git.
I don't know.
I think Git is like for the diff thingy, because like the way that it shows all the diff between the previous one and the new code is actually, I think they create like a temporary branch and then they just use the diff to show the diff between two code base. Yes. Run script, yeah. Searching the web. Yeah, I think that's probably the most important ones are like read and write a file and list the directory as well, like listing every file in the directory as well. Grabbing is really powerful. Oh yeah, I thought it's yep. OS. Yep, I guess that's like some of the tools. I don't know, but I feel like these are some of the tools that they are using for the planning mode as well. You can generate a plan, I guess, like a to-do list, a tool as well. But yeah, that's probably one of the most important parts of every agent. It's just like generating good tools so that the agent can understand. So here's like a tool definition by AICK. We have the tool name, we have the description. Description is very important. It's like, I guess it's sort of the prompt for your tool so that the agent can understand what the tool does, so that when it decides to do a use case, it know which tool to use. The input schema here is the list of arguments that we want the tool to generate. So say if we want to generate an outfit so that we can wear today, it will generate maybe like jeans, what type of jean you should wear, what type of shirt you should wear, etc. So these are the object that we want the AI to generate. So for a client tool, these are the two arguments that we need. The third one, which is only for server tools, is that the function that we want to execute and return the output. So I guess like once we have these type of inputs, how can we like execute it? How can we run the function? Maybe if we want to get the user info, right? The input schema might be the username or the password, and the output might be like the age or like any of the info within the database. So the tool definition is pretty simple. And I guess like once you have this tool definition, you can already sort of imagine how you would create each of these tools that I just mentioned here. Yep. And now we come to the second part, which is streaming UI components. This part sounds pretty hard, but once you have AICK, especially the use chat here, which handles all the message state, it becomes super easy. It becomes, once you get the UI from the backend, to render the front end, it's just one big switch statement. So I guess it's pretty hard to see over here, but you can see there's a switch statement for each part within the message. So if the message is reasoning, then we return the component we created, like called reasoning. If the return part is text, then we return like a markdown of the text, one component of the text. If the return message is a tool, then we return like a tool component that we already have and its inputs and outputs as well. Or like, yeah, so we just like return respective component for respective tools that the AI generates. Yeah, and within each tool, actually, each tool might contain a state over here. So for example, here, the display weather, there might be several states that the message can be in. it can be streaming right now. It can be done with the whole output. And there's several states that the message can be in. So what we do, we just add another statement to a switch statement to like render each component based on the state that it's in right now. So it's pretty simple. It's like only just like switch statement based on the state that it's in. So because AICK has handle all the states for us, we just need to do like if a bunch of if else just to render each component. It's pretty nice. Yeah. Now we get to, I guess, the AI engineering aspect. I would say these two are the most important parts within an AI agent. Is the context and the prompt. So what is context engineering? Maybe a first question first is like, who here knows what a context window is? Do you guys know what a context window is? Okay. Maybe I'll just like do a 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. You can think a context window.
Oh, Kevin's hand raised his hand. What's up?
Okay, never mind. Yeah, basically, a context window is like a AI model short-term memory. If you think so, like us, right? Maybe we have like a bunch of memory. We have like all these memories from like the last 20 years of your life. But for your short-term memory to work on something, you can only like retrieve some like a portion of that memory. So you can think of context window as your short-term memory. Context window. Oh yeah, I think mine is like 200 tokens. It's the ways that it's because of the architecture that the AI model use right now as well, which is transformer. The context window cannot be super big. It can be like 200,000 tokens max, which I guess like is pretty big, but it's like you cannot because of this, you cannot just like feed everything that you know to the AI model and expect that it will work well. It's because like the model very easily forgets. So we need to think very carefully about what we feed into the context and what the AI should know in order to like solve a task. So we need to think about this very carefully. So a good way to add more context in a smart way is to use the tools. Why do we use this? Because some of the knowledge that we want to, or the context that we might want to get, it's based on the prompt that the user put in. So by using tools, we are forcing the AI to only retrieve the necessary context within using the tool, so that it knows that, if the user only want to look for a recipe, then I'll retrieve a bunch of recipes that the user can do, and from those recipes I can choose the best one for the user. So by using tools, we are in a smart way like getting the context. So some of the examples include like web search, retrieve knowledge, grabbing files, grabbing from the keyword that we might put in. It will grab all the files that has the contain keywords. Reading a page is a very simple but powerful context tool, especially nowadays. If you guys have heard of the word RAG, it's an amazing way to get the right context out of a huge tech dumps. I will also briefly explain what is RAG as well. It's a technique that like these AI have developed to retrieve the right knowledge. It works from a big knowledge we have, we just like chunk it out. We chunk it everything, the text dump, into like separate chunks or like separate portions, and then we index them, or we feed them into like a database, so that when we retrieve, we only get the most related chunks. And from those chunks, after it has all the relevant information, the AI then use that data to form an accurate response for us. So say you might have like a long ass paragraph from your like uni assignment, or like you have a long essay that you want to like ask questions about. Then from that long paragraph, it might chunk it down to like separate sentences, maybe like 2 or 3 sentences per chunk. And then the AI will then like find the most relevant chunks using like some vector similarity algorithm. But yeah, I think it's a very powerful technique. So every time you have like a big project, or like the whole project knowledge, or like how to use guide, you can just like feed it to a database and then use RAG to retrieve the relevant information. Yep. So lastly, we have prompt engineering. I guess this is probably the easiest part of an agent, but I feel like it's one of the most underrated things that you should consider. List of things that you should add to your system prompt, or your prompt, is first your role, or like what type of agent are you? So I guess like for README here, we are AI assistant AI assistant capable of like helping with documentations or content or like modifying the tech document. Very important thing here is important note. This makes sure that the AI follows what we say and some of the rules that we put out to the models. And a very funny trick here is just to add importance to every single sentence that we want the AI to follow. So like add like an important or like super urgent, just like do what the user said. Actually, example use case as well is very important as well. This guide the use chatbot to understand like how would we use some of the tools that we provide to the AI. So an example use case I might ask here to research X and create a content about it. Then you'll need to use retrieve knowledge to understand the thing, search the web to research about it, and then using rewrite page to actually create the content. So it shows an example use case that the AI can use to do a task that the user sent. And here's some examples as well. This is very important. It's also called in-context learning, but it's very simple. It shows like an example input that the user might put in and an example output. So pretty similar to the above, but the above it shows all the tools that it needs to use. This one here shows the example output that the AI should spin out. I guess like AI is generally pretty smart these days. In order to do like I guess like do a more downstream task, you can also use fine tuning as well. But then or like generally the AI is pretty smart nowadays that you wouldn't need anything. Just like a few example is good enough. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's the almost important components of Asian chat that I guess like should work. Few shotting, I guess. Nowadays, I don't think few shotting usually the AI gets it in per shot. It's pretty nice. Or chain of thought. Yeah, so chain of thought, I guess like now in AICK for each of the providers here that yeah, so I guess like some of the few other things that you should consider as well. I guess Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI nowadays, they already have like a thinking model inside. So it's already doing some chain of thought within it. So we don't have to care about like things like chain of thought. We just need to like pass in the good AI models, I guess. Like you can pass in like thoughts on it 4.5 and that's good enough. Or like GPT thinking, it's pretty nice. Yeah. So Gemini 2.5 Flash doesn't, but Pro does. So the Pro one already does like chain of thought. So that's why it costs more because like it's taking more token. Yeah, there's these are some of the other stuff that you might want to consider when building like an agent chat as well. Like model support, I guess that's pretty straightforward. Nowadays you can just like pass in the model ID. That should work pretty fine. Chat and message persistent. We should save the chat into a database so that the user can retrieve it whenever you want. Since AI already handle like the message state for us, we just need to save all those messages into like a JSON object and save it in the database or something. Rate limiting is pretty important. It ensures that the user doesn't like try to exploit the system. Object generation, yeah, I guess like it's very straightforward. All the tools that we do, it's like does like generate object already, so it's pretty straightforward. It's very useful for building components. Yeah, if you try to blow up the context window, I guess like nowadays, I think most of the AI models are smart enough to just like cut off the context window to the maximum size. So if it gets too big, it just cut off the first part. It will just get the most recent part. Some of the models like return an error, so we have to take care of that. But most of the time, you can just like get the last context window that the user feed in. Yeah. Other stuff that you care about is image and voice support as well. I think this pretty well supported in AICK as well, so it should be pretty straightforward. One very cool thing is MCP integration with other applications. This allows the AI models to get all the API endpoints from other apps so that you can let the AI model run those API endpoints for you. So yeah, I guess like it works pretty well. It's just that most of the agent chat, you wouldn't need to integrate with MCP that much, I guess. I guess like if you try to say you want to integrate like Cursor with like some tools like Notion, it will feedback like all these API endpoints. Like you can modify the Notion page or like create a new Notion page, something like that. So it's powerful in the sense that you let the AI model take care of everything for you. If you integrate like a bunch of MCP servers from like a bunch of other apps, then you can like let the AI model control all of your other applications as well. And that's going to create like a very straightforward workflow from end to end. That's really powerful. But a weakness with MCP server is that there's too many API endpoints. So sometimes it might confuse the AI model if it's like too many. Like imagine like each server might provide you with like 100 API endpoints. That's like 100 tools. And now with like a few hundred tools, like how can the AI model choose what to use? Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? I guess. Yeah, that's probably it as well. So if you guys want to see the demo, I can show you guys a bit of demo as well if you guys want. But that's probably it.
Show the demo. I want to see it.
Okay. I'll just delete this. So yeah, so here is a typical README applications. You have the documentations here. Here's an example page that we want to do. We can open the AI panel here. This is where my whole product lives. This sidebar here. It's like where the magic happens, I guess. Yep. So here we can choose some of the models that we want to use. The default model that we use is called Sonnet. It's pretty powerful. If you go to the settings here, you can see that we can like toggle the models. We can index the project. This in the concept of RAG, where we index the whole project so that now the AI model has all the knowledge of the whole project. We can add some of the custom knowledge that we want the AI model to understand. It's similar to like how you would use agent markdown. It's for like custom instructions for the agent, I guess. Yep. So I guess like maybe a question to ask us is like, what's in this current page? Yep, you can see there's like some thinking here as well. You can see the streaming here as well. Everything is just under one big switch statement, and it works pretty well, I guess. You can see the thought process. Each of this is like a component that I created. So this is like maybe the message is type is about thinking. So I'll add a component drop down here. This part is about text. I'll just like add this part here. Let's just say I want to help me make this page more concise. Yep. So you can see here I'm calling the rewrite page tool. So it try to really rewrite the page. Yep. So you can see there's the rewrite page tool. It shows all the change that it's going to make. And then you can press apply change to apply the change. And then you can revert the change as well. Maybe another one is maybe, let's just help me add a section about the recent football news. So this one is gonna call web search as well to get the latest football news from the web. Maybe general football news. Yeah, so it's searching the web for you. The Sonnet model already provide thinking, so that's pretty good. Oh shoot. Let me check the chat again. I cannot see the chat. Shoot. This is yeah. So the tool calling is part of the AICK. So the AICK already, or like the AI model already knows which model that it should choose, I guess, in some way. So the AI model already choose the tool. We just provide it with the tools that you should use, and it will do the rest of the work for you. Yeah, so you see it does a web search here. It shows all the sources, and we can press apply change, and now it has all the football news update over here, Champions League, Premier League, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, and to do something more like cursor, this experimental-ish feature that I'm doing right now maybe like create a new page. So this is only rewriting the current page, right? Let's say I want to create a new page about the recent music news. So it's gonna search the web to get some of the recent news first. And then afterwards, it's gonna call the create page tool. It might take a while. It's like minutes right now. The Google Flash model is much faster, but the result that it outputs, it's not that good right now. It's not as good compared to the Sonnet model. So that's what we've been doing right now. Yep. So I guess it's gonna create a new page. Do you want to create a new page? Press confirm here. Yep. Gonna turn to review mode here, where you can see like the change that it's gonna make. So you can see here's the new page that it's gonna create, and then it's gonna create a new branch here as well. So you can just like merge this branch back if you want to accept it. And after you merge it, it's here. So you can create a new page as well. Afterwards, it's gonna do multi-page edits as well. Once we have like can add multiple page, it's gonna create like a new temporary branch, and it's gonna compare it with the old branch or like the existing branch to see like what other changes it's gonna make. So that's really powerful, I guess. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I guess some of the pretty good use case as well is to maybe like ask stuff about like how can we change the settings, like how can I change the theme color settings, for example. Yep, so it's gonna search the knowledge base, and it's gonna show you like how can you change the settings. You can open settings, you can change the color scheme. The way that we do this is that we index the whole docs.readme.com. That's the README documentation to how to use README app. So we just index the whole everything and put it into a database, and then we just like use RAG to like retrieve the knowledge that we need. So everything that like huge amount of knowledge, just use RAG, just like index everything into the database. That's the most straightforward way. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Any other? Yeah, I guess vector database.
In the chat.
Okay, yeah, I'll have a look. I'll start having a look. Yeah. Yep. So process. How you go clarify questions. I guess like you can prompt the AI model to like ask clarifying questions if it needs to. Like for some of the confirm some of the tools here, you can just like set in the settings that in order to run this tool, you need to ask like a clarification questions, and we'll do it for you. Are you using Surf API for message? This is actually cool actually, because most of these providers, they already have their own message tool. So you can use the built-in message tool, which is pretty powerful. So you don't need to use something like Surf API. It's already in the model API. I guess like they are going to each site to get the result of each link. So that's why there's like sources here that you can press on. You press on a source here, you redirect to like a new link containing the result. Yeah, so vector database, you can understand it as each chunk is actually represented as a vector, and from the query that we put in as well, it's going to be like a sort of like a vector as well. So so to find the relevant chunk, it's just basically like you have two vectors and you're trying to find the most closest vector to that to the query vector that you sent. How are you chunking it to put into? How big are your chunks? I guess like this is like a totally different part to an Asian. The chunking is like, I guess like it's very, there's like a bunch of chunking methods that you can use, and there's a uh, whole different topic here. It's gonna be like super long as well. But you can think that there's like multiple chunking methods, and most of the vector database are pretty well. They have all the chunking methods that you can use. So you can try like different chunking methods and see like which one works best for your use case. Yeah, so it's like a whole different topic here. Like, because like for chunking as well, instead of just text, there might be a bunch of different things that you might want to chunk as well. Maybe you want to chunk like images or like graphs or like PDFs, etc. So yeah, maybe that's for another lunch and learn. I think also teams might be much more suitable for this, talk about this than I am. But yeah, it's like a very interesting topic as well. So any other questions?
Okay, now clap.
Hey guys.
No question from outside. Nope, no question. No question from on outside.
Cool.
All right, thanks, back. We'll call
Thanks,
it
guys. Bye, guys.
week 2.
Thanks, guys. Incredible.